Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. So tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, to call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
Good morning, I'm Ada with the CMR News Desk this November 25th. Topping our news this morning. A major traffic collision on Walker's Road has left a man fighting for his life. Also ahead, government finances are pushing close to their limits. Staff strike after alleged labour violations. Health officials confirm our first case of Oropouche virus. And history made at the Lions Centre in boxing. Those stories and more straight ahead.
We begin this morning with news of a serious crash that's left one man fighting for his life. A man is in critical condition this morning after a two-vehicle collision at the intersection of Goring Avenue and Walker's Road. The crash happened yesterday in Georgetown, where police officers found one male victim in rapidly deteriorating condition. When he stopped breathing, quick-thinking officers began CPR at the scene. An off-duty nurse joined the rescue effort, helping police keep the victim alive until paramedics arrived. The male victim remains hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. A woman from the other vehicle was also taken to hospital, though her injuries are not considered life-threatening. While the intersection has since reopened to traffic, police investigators are working to determine what caused the crash. The RCIPS thanked everyone who assisted at the scene, making special mention of the off-duty nurse who stepped in to help.
A routine police patrol in Georgetown has yielded multiple arrests and taken a burglary suspect off the streets. 5 people are in custody this morning following an early morning traffic stop in Georgetown last Thursday. Royal Cayman Islands police say officers were conducting proactive burglary patrols when they stopped a vehicle on Grescott Lane around 3:45 a.m. During their search, officers discovered a large amount of cash, suspected ganja, drug paraphernalia, and a machete. The 5 suspects range in age from 19 to 32, including 4 men and 1 woman, all local residents from the Georgetown and Bodentown areas. They face drug-related charges, including possession and intent to supply ganja. One of those arrested, a 22-year-old man, has also been charged in connection with a separate crime, the November 14th break-in at a Portland Road business. He faces additional charges of burglary and destruction of property and is due in court today. Police say these arrests come as they've stepped up patrols in response to a recent surge in commercial burglaries across the district.
A new audit report is raising concerns about the government's financial flexibility despite our strong economy. The Cayman Islands economy continues to show robust performance, with a GDP per capita of $71,000 last year. But a just-released report from the Auditor General's office warns the government is operating close to its mandated financial limits. Auditor General Sue Winspear says while the government remains compliant with its financial requirements, there's minimal room to maneuver if economic challenges arise. The audit shows government debt servicing costs and cash reserves are approaching their permitted ceilings. Net debt is projected to reach 90% of its maximum allowed level by 2026. Of particular concern, the government hasn't assessed potential risks from a global economic downturn, with officials stating they don't expect significant local impact from worldwide economic challenges. The report also flags that government calculations exclude a substantial $2.3 billion post-retirement liability. Under existing agreements with the UK, any breach of borrowing limits would require government approval from British officials for a financial recovery plan. While Moody's maintains our AA3 credit rating, auditors are calling for a more comprehensive strategy to address growing infrastructure and social needs as our population expands.
From government finances to workplace concerns, allegations of labor law violations are intensifying at a major hotel development project. New controversy this morning at the Hyatt Resort construction site, where workers claim they're being pressured to give up their overtime pay rights. Construction manager Fred Allen McLaughlin is facing fresh allegations of labor violations at the Pageant Beach development, this time over attempts to force staff into sign overtime waiver forms. The issues culminated on Sunday when workers were refused entry to the job site if they did not sign the form. Workers at the 5-star Hyatt Hotel project say they've been presented with overtime waiver documents twice in the past 2 weeks. Multiple employees report being told they'll lose their jobs if they don't sign. These developments come just days after McLaughlin reported being robbed of more than $300,000 in cash, money allegedly intended for worker payroll. Under Cayman Islands law, while workers can voluntarily agree to waive overtime rights, any coercion or threats make such agreements invalid. Legal experts say attempting to waive overtime that's already been earned is not permitted.
Turning now to a health alert this morning as officials confirm the first case of a mosquito-borne virus new to our islands. The Cayman Islands has recorded its first imported case of Oropouche virus disease. Exclusive CMR sources shared that the patient recently traveled from Panama. While this case was brought in from overseas, there's no evidence of local transmission. The same is true for several imported dengue cases reported this year. Oropouche fever causes symptoms similar to dengue, including fever, headache, and joint pain. Certain types of midges and mosquitoes spread it. Senior researcher Carlos Pesaña from the Mosquito Research and Control Unit says success against these diseases requires community-wide effort, from eliminating standing water to using mosquito repellent. Local health agencies are now conducting increased surveillance and mosquito control measures.
In sports this morning, a historic night of boxing at the Lions Center has put Cayman in the international spotlight. The recent clash in Cayman delivered more than just excitement, it delivered history. India's Mandeep Jangra became his country's first professional boxing world champion, claiming the WBF super featherweight title in a 12-round battle against Britain's Conor McIntosh. After his unanimous decision victory, the new champion credited his legendary trainer. "Whatever I achieved today was because of Roy Jones Jr. He believed I could do something, and today because of him, I created history for India." In the co-main event, Filipino fighter Michael Dasmariñas needed just over 2 minutes to claim the WBF International Featherweight title, scoring a technical knockout over Eduardo Esquivel of Belize. The event, backed by local sponsors and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage, further establishes our islands as a rising force in Caribbean boxing.
In regional news this morning, a significant cash seizure in Honduras has led to the arrest of 2 Bay Islands men. Our partners at Bay Islands Broadcasting Television report that Honduran border police have seized more than $300,000 in cash during a routine inspection. The money was discovered packed in rectangular bundles inside 2 suitcases at a checkpoint in La Corteza village in the Choluteca region. 2 men from the Bay Islands, ages 37 and 42, were arrested after failing to provide legal justification for the cash, which amounts to nearly 8 million lempiras in local currency. Both suspects now face money laundering charges. In a separate incident on Sunday, a boat with supposed cocaine was seized in Puerto Isabel, Guatemala, which left from Honduras. According to the Guatemalan Naval Force, the vessel is registered in Guanaja.
And finally, this morning, what may be the world's most expensive banana has just sold at auction, but don't expect it to last very long. A banana duct taped to a wall has sold for $6.2 million at Sotheby's in New York. The piece, titled Comedian by Italian artist Maurizio Catalan, was purchased by cryptocurrency entrepreneur Justin Sun, who has unusual plans for his multi-million-dollar fruit. Sun says he will personally eat the banana as part of this unique artistic experience. The banana, bought earlier that day for just 35 cents, is meant to be replaced whenever it rots, and it's been eaten before. Last year, a South Korean art student helped himself to the display banana at Seoul's Liam Museum. And in 2019, a performance artist ate an earlier version at Art Basel Miami after it had sold for $120,000. The artwork comes with official instructions for replacing the fruit, making this possibly the only masterpiece that needs regular trips to the grocery store.
And that's a look at our top stories this Monday morning. Stay with us throughout the day for updates on these stories and more on Cayman Mile Road's website and social media channels. For the CMR News team, thank you for starting your day with us. Now stay tuned for Cayman's #1 talk show with Sandy Hill, which will bring you all of the latest topical discussion and commentary.
Good morning, Cayman. Happy Monday. Who had a wonderful weekend? Raise your hands, folks. I know y'all had a good weekend. No fatalities. Oh, man, we still had a pretty serious accident, unfortunately, with an elderly gentleman there. I'm hoping that he pulls through and that he's okay. You guys just need to slow down and take a few lessons, learn how to drive. It can't be that difficult, can it? I mean, literally, we have like 2 roads. I don't get half the accidents that happen on this island, except to say people are simply not paying attention. They don't pay attention to where they're going. On a Sunday, when there's really quite limited traffic on the roadway, you would actually expect to see far fewer accidents happening. So I don't know how to explain it, except you guys really need to take your time. Let me adjust my camera 1 second here. Ooh, 1 second. Take your time and learn how to drive. Oh my goodness. All right. We'll make some camera adjustments. So good morning. I see all of your beautiful faces right there on the social media. We've got the beautiful Fresh Joe in the house. Well, he's probably handsome and not beautiful. Although some of y'all men, y'all be looking pretty like a daisy. We've got Miss Evelyn. The lovely Siobhan is back. Were you on vacation, Siobhan? We missed you. Hadn't seen you in a couple weeks. The ever lovely Miss Joyce Ann. Oh, she's always so calm, cool, and collected. Patricia Blake in the house. Good morning, Patricia. We got another Pat here with us. She says good morning to the CMR community. Honey chow. Diamond Princess. Hello, Diamond. Olivia's here. Stephen joining us from the UK. Good morning, Stephen. Damaris says good morning to everyone. Barbara G. Buenos dias, Miss Alba. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien. Abby. Hello. Good morning, K-Man. She says, the weekend went in a blink. It always does. Listen to me. I was just saying to someone, look at what today is. This is the last week of November. In case you missed it on your calendar, this is it. We got Thanksgiving coming up. And then after Thanksgiving, we roll right into December. And then Christmas is literally 1 month away from today. Let the countdown begin. All right, Strong Wilt. Miss Iva's here. Oh gosh, such a sad time for Caymanians this morning. We lost several people over the weekend, and even if you don't know people personally, once you're part of the community, you kind of feel the collective grief, don't you? I find that yeah. Oh my gosh. So we want to extend condolences to a number of people. Is the connection a bit fuzzy this morning? Shall I do a little refresh? Let me just have a quick look. Let me see here. It looks fuzzy for me, so it might look fuzzy for you. Hold on a second. So yes, unfortunately, lots of Caymanians grieving some losses this morning. But let me refresh before we jump into that. So give me one quick second. We're going to play a little music here for radio folks, and then we're going to come right back to it. All right, folks. Thank you so much for your patience. Hopefully that's a little bit more crisp on the connection. Looks better from where I'm sitting. Yes, much better. Ooh, I wasn't even wearing my glasses and I could still see that was fuzzy. Imagine. Miss Flora, good morning to you, my love. We've got that Mr. Corvin in the house, McLean. So I was saying before that little technical break that unfortunately we lost some individuals over the weekend. So I want to extend my condolences to the families. One of them, of course, Al Ebanks' mom, unfortunately passed away, but, connected to so many people. I saw a lot of you messaging and posting on your social media that she was your aunt or your, just connected in so many different ways. And that really speaks volumes to, who we are as Caymanians. I mean, in a way, there's so few of us left that when something happens, we really do feel it. So I was really taken aback, by the loss there. And of course, again, the family members, I express my sincerest condolences to all of you. It's never easy, no matter how old someone is. Some people get to live a much fuller life than others. And I think that that's obviously amazing. But our elders are just such a treasure that Aunt V, as she was so affectionately known by so many, will certainly surely be missed. So I was trying to see, I had a beautiful picture of her here I was going to share, and now I can't find it, but lovely lady. So, and I understand her husband actually passed away just earlier this year as well. So this family is having, What a double whammy, as they say. So, Al, we're thinking of you and all of the family, all of the immediate and extended family. But yeah, there she is, a Georgetown stalwart, as they say. And then also from Georgetown, in a shocker, Mr. Tommy Ramon passed away quite tragically yesterday as well. I was shocked by this because I don't know if you guys remember, but just a few weeks ago, I was asking all of you, who is this guy that looks like Hulk Hogan? He has the Hulk Hogan mustache. He was in the PPM video, remember, when we were talking about their meet and greet that they had in Georgetown, and he was, one of the few people there, but he really stood out because he kind of has that Hulk Hogan look. Always a fun guy from what I understand. And unfortunately, Tommy tragically passed away yesterday he'd just gotten back in from the BRAC and was having, some discomfort. So he was taken to the hospital where tragically he passed away. So again, our condolences to the Ramon family and all of the extended family as well. Fresh Joe says he was always driving around in his truck flying the Cayman flag. May he rest in peace. So many people said, even this morning to me, that, oh man, they can't believe it because, he's always drive by every morning on the waterfront, kind of toot toot and saying good morning to everyone. So incredibly sad. Radio connection is very poor. Huh. Yeah, that's a constant thing with the radio, unfortunately. There's really nothing that I can do about it. Thank you for letting me know. But it seems like when I'm playing anything other than talking myself, the connection is beyond poor. So nothing I can do except to tell you that hopefully once I get my own station up and running, we won't have this issue. Of course, I need to identify exactly what's causing it so that I know how to not have it. Hopefully my technical team will do a better job. Yeah, I think it's good now, but what happens, like when I would have been playing the news segment, that's when people will hear it. So anything that I play outside of, calls and myself talking, you're going to unfortunately not have the best quality. I don't know. Anyway, they say it's me, but I doubt that because I'm like, if the issue was actually me, I would hear it across all platforms logically. I would hear it on YouTube, Facebook, and everything else is fine. So this person says that they normally listen to Facebook. So they've never experienced this before. I'm so sorry. All right. Thanks again for letting me know. So yes, our condolences to these two Georgetown families. Sometimes you just at a loss for words, quite frankly. But yeah, so sad. Oh, yeah. What to do? Good morning, Miss Marcia. So good to see you. You had an accident yesterday coming through the community gate. The timing of the gate was wrong, so it came back on my car. What community gate is that? Oh my gosh, really? So I'll be honest with you, if the timing is off on the gate, I don't know what gate it is, but that community is now responsible for repairing your vehicle if it's a timing issue. So make sure you get your evidence together. Because yeah, that's not good. What a mess, my dear. I'm always a little bit put off by going through gates and stuff because you always have this apprehension, just as you say, that the gate is going to hit your car. I try to back way up if it's the gates that open, like kind of this way. I'm like, let me give it plenty of room, honey chill. Good morning, Miss Lucille. She says, good morning, Sandy, and everyone at home. Love always. Stay blessed. Thank you. Good morning to Miss Daisy. Flora Ramon in the house. Good morning, Miss Flora. Lala's here. Good morning to you. Inspiring says, ready for the class in the front seat. Good for you, Inspiring. Look at you trying to be a straight A student. Morning, Jim. Paul is here with us. Paul, I haven't forgotten you, but just send me a little reminder in WhatsApp so I don't forget. Good morning, Miss Sherry Ann. So good to see you as well. So I trust everybody had a good weekend. So let's talk about what is really happening this morning. So on Saturday, we posted up a story about Mr. Fred McLaughlin. He's still at it. Like, I don't, forgive me for being obviously completely naive. Okay. DLP and WRC, the day after we did the show, or I think the same afternoon, issued statements about how they had launched and they said they had done it from before. Funny, we never heard anything about it. But they had launched an investigation into this site and they had concerns of WRC and CBC, I guess. No, WRC and would it be CBC? Definitely, no, WRC and DLP had launched dual investigations into this work site. And so, yeah. And so I'm a little bit surprised that when they claim that they've launched an investigation, this man, Fred McLaughlin, still has the audacity, that's the nicest way that I could say it this morning, to still be out there trying to force people to sign a waiver. So remember last week's show, this was brought up and I showed you guys a document that he was basically trying to get them to sign. And so he had that first document and then he turned around and did another document. And this time he had the document addressed to the labor secretary. So what this does, and I tell you what, this is a real bit of a concern, I think, for people in the sense that you have to understand who you're dealing with when it comes to the workers, yes? So these workers don't understand, they don't listen, they don't have the requisite knowledge. And this is where it's unfortunate that some people don't get it, but I think, it is what it is. There's a degree of, like, they just don't know their rights. And listen, not knowing your rights is horrible in the sense that people can be taking advantage of you and you don't even know it. Yeah. And so that's what's happening here. And unfortunately, when Fred does a move like this, where he addresses it to the Labor Tribunal Secretary, Department of Labor and Pensions, Elgin Avenue, Georgetown, I think that this is, on the one hand, being purposely done to try to confuse the narrative. On the other hand, I suppose, maybe that's who it's supposed to be addressed to because they actually have to approve it. But you see, those poor workers, they don't know any of this. They don't understand this. And this is why educating the public on their rights is something that the Department of Labor and Pensions should have almost as a separate and dedicated arm of their operations, right? Yes, ultimately, it is on the worker to know what your rights are. But governments have an obligation to educate the public and to keep people informed of those rights. And DLP is failing on that front miserably. Okay? And laws are not always easy to understand. I'm not saying that these people are stupid or they're dumb. Laws can be complicated and even for the best of us, sometimes hard to grasp. So there's just so much to unpack here that is incredibly, disturbing. Workers, generally speaking, even some employers also don't know the law. And that's why some of them run afoul of the law themselves. So here's the thing, folks. Quite frankly, they don't have to sign this document. The law does not allow you to sign this document and to obtain this signature under coercion. So thank you so much. Somebody's sending me the updated document now. So what he did is he had the first one done up, and then he turned around and updated the document, took off his letterhead, his company letterhead. So I'm going to show you exhibits A and B now so that you can see it for yourselves. So hold on a second, mamas. All right, here we go. So this is document number 1, which I showed you last week. I'm assuming he's spoken to someone at DLP or someone who thinks that they're more well-versed with the immigration laws, and they gave him some advice. So this is the first one, October 23rd. This was actually last week. Oh, well, he had it dated October 23rd, but he gave it to him last week, right? So this is the first one. And then this is the updated version. So look what he did. He went from this to this, took it off of letterhead, put it and addressed it to the Labor Tribunal Secretary, re-waiver of overtime benefits, name, date of birth, hire date, occupation. I'm employed with, in the blanks, and I hereby request to waive my rights to time and a half as outlined in Section 26 of the Labor Act. I have voluntarily, and that's important, we're going to come here to that in a second. I have voluntarily signed with my employer to be paid my basic wage and request the approval of the tribunal to process on this basis. You can see it's a little bit less than what he said before. Now, what he said before, which was very, very interesting, he said that I hereby voluntarily waive my right to claim or request any back pay for overtime hours worked up to the present date. So you see what this little slick Rick is trying to do? You don't get to undo. So let me break this down, because this requires some degree of understanding, right? Someone breaks the law, any law. Then after they've broken the law, and after they are in contravention of the law, they come back and try to get you to sign something that undoes, is that the right word? Undoes them breaking the law. And you can't undo something you've already done. That's not how it works. So this first form of the letter, he's trying to retroactively correct his breaches of the labor law. And I'm sitting here going, where are the DLP people on this? Huh? You can't do that. And so if the workers are listening this morning, please do not sign any documents from this man. Okay? So it's shocking that he believed, and he probably is still trying to pull a fast one, although he's removed that wording in the current version, that you worked overtime in the past, and now he can undo the overtime that you've worked. Yeah. All right. So this is unbelievable. When you get a job, folks, the law, referred to the Labor Act 2021, requires you to have some form of a contract. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can even be in terms of understanding, something in place. And there are bare minimums that exist in the law, okay? So you don't get to make it up as you go along. And this is the problem. I don't know what kind of contract these workers signed, if anything at all. But in that contract, if it was silent about the overtime, if it said nothing at all, or if it said that you were entitled to overtime, right? Then you're entitled to overtime, but it doesn't have to say it, because that section of the law, section 26, and it actually starts at section 25 after it talks about let me just pull up the law here for you guys to see. After it talks about the provisions, let me just see here. After it talks about the provisions of, I see you there, Kyle, I don't come to you. After it talks about the provisions of what a standard work week looks like, then it talks about when you're supposed to pay overtime. So he's now been, I guess, schooled by somebody that, okay, this is what it is. This is what you're supposed to do. And he's trying to circumvent the law, which is not permitted. The other thing that he's trying to do, which is quite shocking and shameful, is that he thinks that he can coerce these workers into signing this document. Again, something that you cannot do. The law specifically says that you can't do that. I'm just trying to find my, give me 1 second here. I'm going to find the other copy of it so I can pull it up on the screen. So this guy is all over the place in terms of what he's attempting to do. And if you don't know any better, unfortunately, you might be likely to fall for his tricks. And I'm advising you not to do so. Take your time. There's no rush here because obviously he's been breaching the laws already, rest and assured. There's no reason for you to jump now and sign anything that this man is putting before you. He's trying his best to get you to waive your rights, which, given the way in which he's doing it, which includes the fact that if you don't sign this document, you can't go to work or you're going to be terminated. He's using threats in order to get people to sign it. Okay? Don't allow him to do that. So he claims in this first one, I confirm that I fully understand the consequence of this decision, and this was made voluntarily without any undue pressure or coercion. Well, that part is a lie. And just because you put it in the document does not make it true. So just because you put it there and you say, well, sign it that you're voluntarily doing it, they have to look at the actions of what you're actually doing. So here's the labor law, folks. Let's go to page 21 or so of the labor law. Let me just fast forward here. See what it says there about overtime? It actually starts with the previous page at section 25, and it talks about the occasions for overtime pay. So an employer shall pay overtime pay to an employee for every hour of worked in excess of the standard work week or standard work day. Notwithstanding subsection 1, the parties in a contract of employment may provide either generally by an agreement in writing or specifically in relation to any period of less than 1 week by oral agreement that the employee shall work more than the hours provided for in the standard work week and shall receive time off equivalent to the extra hours in lieu of overtime pay. So he's not going to be giving them any time off, right? He's trying to rely on section 26 of the law, which says overtime pay not necessary if the parties agree to the contrary. But you can't agree to the contrary when the person is saying to you, you can't show up to the job site, or if you don't agree to this, you're going to be terminated and fired. That's not how this works. And that's exactly what Fred is trying to do. Now, you see, this is why I could not run a government department, because I tell you what, I would do. If I were DLP, I would have gone to that work site, as a matter of fact, from last week, and shut the entire work site down. Yeah. You got to let people know that you're not playing with them. And some people, unfortunately, just don't get the memo. You know, you've launched an investigation. That's not enough for the Fred McLaughlins of the world. He's a con artist. He's proven to be a con artist. He's proven to be a common thief, right? He's dishonest at his core. So someone who has a history of being sentenced to jail and, you know, selling a mop head as turtle meat and pretending to work for a big conglomerate like the DART organization, stealing money on the word and the reputation of the DART organization, is a common thief. So DLP is playing games with this man, I think, because if they went there and shut down that job site for an entire week until they could get all of this sorted out, not only would Fred McLaughlin get the message, somebody said they're wondering if he has somebody on the take over at WRC. Not only would he get the message, but all other construction sites and construction managers and employers in general would understand that DLP is not playing with you all. But when they do this Mickey Mouse thing where they continue to allow him to threaten workers and the job and the work continues, Houston, we got a problem. So yesterday, the workers showed up, and again, they were presented with the newest form of this document, and they refused to sign it. Good for them. Good for the few that stood up. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Uh-oh. Hold on one second, honey child. I can't hear you. I'm going to just replug the phone in. Yes, hello? Oh, no, I still can't hear you. All right, give me a second. Let me see what's going on with my little connection. Let's try that again. Hello? Nope, still can't hear you. All right, I might have to, I don't know what's going on this morning. I might have to call you back. Hello, caller? What's going on? Hold on, I can't hear a word this morning. Oh my goodness. What's going on with my board? Give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can figure this out. Can't hear my good callers. Hello, caller? Nope, still can't hear you. All right, hold on 1 second. Maybe I should just restart the phone. Give me 1 quick second here. I'm gonna just restart it. For some reason. Let me make sure that my cable's plugged in properly. Yes, all right. We're gonna try that again. Just do a quick restart. Several callers were trying to call in, so my apologies for that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and bring Kyle in. So these were the guys yesterday. They were sitting across the street, refusing to work, refusing to sign this document. Good for them. And I'm telling you guys, if you stick together on this, Fred will not be able to take advantage of you. Don't let him take advantage of you, folks, because that's exactly what he is doing. Good morning to Mr. Kyle. How are you?
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today?
I'm not too bad. How have you been since we spoke to you last?
Well, it's been well, but at the same time, I'm hearing about all the things that were going on at the site that workers are updating me on, and it's not pretty. They're trying to get these workers.
Oh, my apologies. I was just trying to get my little callers back. Yes, we can hear them loud and clear now.
My apologies.
Oh, hi, caller. Good morning. I'm so sorry we couldn't hear you. Oh.
Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning,
Dexter here.
Hi, Mr. Dexter.
You know, this is one of the most saddest things could happen to Cayman, but it happens all the time. You know, nobody can convince me. And thank you, Kyle, for being on this program this morning, because it takes a lot of people with a respectable reputation to come on here and fight this issue. Mm-hmm. Kyle is going to go a long way. For somebody like McLaughlin to do this to people. Don't tell me that the company that has him hired don't know what is going on. Of course they know what is going on. And probably the reason why they give him a second, the little form there, the second form, is probably one of their lawyers give it to him. You don't want to be judgmental or generalized about anything, but this is wrong. And everybody should be calling in and let you know their feelings. Where is work and where is the public prosecution office on this?
I mean, listen, DLP has to lead the charge here, and quite frankly, what they, like I said, they're sending a very weak message. They're sending a message of how weak they are as a government department, right? Go in there and shut down the entire work site.
Shut it down.
You're playing games now with people who obviously, and I'm beginning to wonder if they might be in the right here, from the sense that the contractors, they seem to have the power, and they shouldn't have the power over the workers when they're breaching the laws. But it's very, very obvious.
It's so sad that every one of them don't have an income coming in now, and you got to wait until they find out the results of this. They may have to go back to Jamaica or wherever they come from. This is sad. And we talk about mankind, and we go to church, and we're such a Christian. That really bothers me. If you wanted to be near to God, you got to be more like Him.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Dexter, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And speaking of, doing the right thing from a moral perspective, here's what one person just sent me. They said, Sandra, where are all the churches and ministers association on this serious and important topic, knowing full well we are founded on a Christian foundation? Why are they keeping quiet in this? Who are really standing up for this country? Julie should be ashamed of herself. Well, as I've said before, the churches, unfortunately, only care about probably two things: collecting tithes and the LGBTQ community. That's the only thing they're going to protest. They don't protest child molestation, crime, generally speaking, murders, nothing else. That's it. So all of these workers, I'm sure a good degree of them, if they have Sundays off, they show up to church and they give their little tithes and they try to be good Christians. And yes, I wouldn't wait for the association to step forward. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Anna. How are you doing today?
Morning, darling. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good.
I didn't want to get involved in this subject, but you're hitting on it again today. That's what I was calling now. Listen, the cold hard truth is, nobody not worried about those black Jamaicans.
That's
it. Yeah. Exactly. That's the problem. And Mr. Dexter touched on what I was going to say. The developers, why the developers just don't stop this man from working this, and you're making us look bad, and we don't need you no more. That's it. So this is a conspiracy.
Yes.
I'm a conspiracy theory, and they call me. They could think whatever they want to think.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to put one and one together and come up with two. Sometimes it stare right here in your face, and none of big puzzle about it. They just don't want to do anything because of the power behind the people that is running that site. It goes beyond trade, Trade is he's just a fall guy, or the middleman, or the man on the bottom. It goes beyond him, So that's why there's nobody not worried about those them Jamaicans. If that was a bunch of Americans there, you would have seen something different.
Oh God, yes. I mean, here's the thing. I must say that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, generally speaking, but I do understand when people say to me, "What power does Fred have?" Right? Who is Fred? Because I'm telling y'all this morning, Fred is a common thief and a crook. So for DLP not to lock down this site and not to deal with him accordingly, I do have to believe this goes higher than Fred. And like I said, I'm no conspiracy theories, but I mean, it looked like a pig. It smelled like a pig. You put a hat on it, it's still a pig. Thank you, caller.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, honey. You too. So yeah, I mean, without a doubt, something seems off here, unless the general, and somebody said to please give that caller kaboom. Unless the general position, folks, is that did you guys hear that kaboom? Why didn't I hear it? Oh, hold on. Let me try it again. No? Oh. Something on one of my mics is off, I think. There it is. I was like, why am I not hearing my kaboom? So I mean, there's two possibilities here. Either, as a lot of you are suspecting, Fred has connections, people willing to turn the blind eye, somebody's on the take, something, or this actually demonstrates how incredibly weak the Department of Labor and Pensions really is. For them to not go into a work site that has hundreds of workers whose rights are being trampled on this morning. And to that caller's point, I'm not one to play the race card, but y'all know exactly what he's saying when he says 99.99999% of the workers on this work site are Black Jamaicans. So you know what? This country is also sending a very, very clear message that we don't care about the Jamaican population. Not that that should matter, but as he said, he believes, and I'm sitting here going, that if it was anybody else except Jamaicans and probably Caymanians, because y'all know much further up the totem pole, any other nationality, the response would have been different. And that is a crying shame. No one should be able to come to this country and have no basic human rights, employment rights trampled on, despite what the law says, and DLP sits down and does nothing about it because, they're just poor Jamaican laborers. That's not right. And so we have a member of our audience listening, and she said, Sandy, here's the worst part. The site is also pressuring the workers. The bad part is they're using the supervisors to do so, their own people, to try to get them to sign. Of course they are. They're using their own Jamaicans who got a little supervisory position. So of course they're being selfish. They're thinking about, I'm getting a couple of dollars more an hour. I want to keep my job. This is the perfect jingo situation with the house, the N-word, for real. And you know what? I saw it the other day when I was there. The little guy, he was opening and closing the fence. I saw how he thought he's one notch up the totem pole from these other guys. Get out of the way. I have to close the gate. Poor you, honey child. You not nobody to the Freds of the world. He still sees you as a poor Jamaican that he does not care anything about. But he's going to use you in this moment to get to the other Jamaican workers and to get them under control and use you to coerce them. And it's illegal. Good morning, caller.
Hey, Sandy.
Morning, dear.
I've said it before with the DLP office. It's they're mediators. From my own experience, you go in, you fill out the form, somebody calls you, you go in, you let them know what's going on. You have to have all your documentation. However, if you're going in to speak on somebody else's behalf because they're fearful of losing their job, they do nothing, absolutely nothing. It's just swept under the carpet and they move on to the next person. Yeah. I do not understand how this department of government, I don't know what their role is. I don't know what they actually do for the people, for the employees on this island. And it's not only Jamaicans. I know for a fact it's Filipinos. I know for a fact it's Indian nationals. And I know for a fact some of these people that are being abused are from their own people. They're being abused by their own people. I mean, I don't know where it's going to stop, when it's going to stop, how it's going to change. This has been going on for years.
Yeah.
It's not just happening now. It's because people are starting to slowly come up and speak out. But this has been going on this island for years, and nothing's done because the law has to change. There has to be a little bit more protection for the employees who want to abide by the law, and when they go in and voice a concern, a grievance, well, there's nothing done. So what's the point of having these laws?
Exactly.
Or these people are caught and they get a slap on the wrist. They pay $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 fine, and they continue on, and because they think they can get away with, and they do get away with it. I'm just tired of the abuse on this island. Sandy, you know my story a little bit.
Yeah.
The abuse on this island is disgusting when it comes to employer-employee relationships.
Yeah.
And nobody, I don't care what country they come from, how poverty-stricken their country is, people deserve to be treated with respect, no matter who they are. Treat people with respect. And mankind, it's a joke. It's a joke. There are a few people who are genuine, but most of them are not.
Yes.
It's just a word. Mankind. Well, put your mouth into action.
Thank you, caller.
You bet.
I appreciate it. Somebody's saying, what about the people that Fred works for? Why are we holding just the government accountable? Well, let me be very, very clear. We said this last week. This isn't just a government problem. I do believe that
I'm sorry, but the person you have called is unavailable.
Alex Lang and all these other people who are engaging with Fred, they need to do something about it. But guess what? What's the role of an enforcement agency? That's like saying that, someone has hired you to do a job and you're going around murdering people, but yet the police are going to sit back and say, well, that's not our problem because you work for somebody else. And so therefore they should keep you under control. That's why government is there. When the system doesn't work, when the Alex Langs of the world with LG Contracting Limited, when they don't keep people under control, government agencies are like the last barrier between your rights and bad people like Fred. And unfortunately, that is not happening, none at all. Let's call, we're going to make some phone calls here this morning. Kyle, just bear with me. We're going to try to see if we can get a hold of some of these overseas people as well to inquire about what is going on at this job site. Let's see. I think we can make overseas calls from this phone. Maybe. Okay. It's not ringing. Call failed. Hold on one second here. Kyle, while I'm just sorting this out quickly, can you tell us, I heard that you were on the job site again this morning. What are you hearing these guys saying?
Okay, so the general consensus is that they won't sign that document, the newest document that was circulating around the job site. That document was presented to them, the workers, yesterday. Big up to them for not signing it, for most of them not signing it, and standing across the street in a mini protest and not sign that document. That document was asking them to waive their rights, and they were asked or coerced or forced or intimidated to sign it so they could work Saturdays and Sundays. But the truth of the matter is that work is needed regardless. So if they all stand together and not sign that document, they can still get that work for them. It's wrong. But not only that, there's other things further. I want to touch on something that caller was getting into, that last caller. The DLP, I want to be transparent with what's going on as far as from my end. I met with the DLP a few days ago, and we talked on Friday. We discussed the case. They basically were telling me, great news, the employer is willing to pay you. And I'm telling them, I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for someone like my employer, someone like Fred? They're like, oh, what do you mean? You get your money and then the case is closed. The case should not be closed after that. If they think that I was just seeking financial restitution, that is not the case. This is something beyond that. This is something to protect the rights of the workers and hold these people who are abusing these workers accountable.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I completely agree. But unfortunately, as I explained to you, the DLP just wants to get, okay, you're owed X amount of money. Let's just get that paid and done and push you back out the door. And they chalk that up as a success. They're not looking at the bigger picture of how do you stop someone like Fred from continuing to breach people's rights. We do have a caller in the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. I just wanted to applaud Kyle again because not many people would do what he's doing. They would take the financial restitution, they would take their money and go about their business. So I just wanted to applaud him. And I think that more Caymanians should do what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Because as we have pointed out time and time again, the Jamaican workers, the Filipino, the expat workers, they aren't always in a position to do what he's doing.
Yes.
Whether it's fear for losing their job or whatever it is. So I applaud him, and I hope that other people would follow suit, because as all the other callers have said, this is nothing new, and this doesn't only happen in the construction industry.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. That caller is spot on. This happens in all sorts of industries, but this obviously is quite a shocking example of where it seems like the system is failing. So Ms. Bonnie says, Fred abused his own East Enders. Why no one from East End doesn't work for him? Damien says, this is a past history around the world. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning.
Morning.
Kyle, thank you very much. I like that attitude. That's the correct attitude to have. To the employees who refused to sign, I say thank you. To those who signed, I'd like to encourage you to rethink your position, because at the end of the day, you'll be better off. Because if what Kyle is explaining is that when you go to the authorities, what they're basically saying is, hey, let me just give you what I should have given you, and so I could continue to abuse other people who won't complain. And what that means is that if we allow that to happen, is that if you leave construction and you go and you work somewhere else, you're going to run into the same problem. And so at what point in time in your life will it ever be convenient to do what we ought to do? If it's not convenient now. And it's more beneficial that you nip it in the bud, because it's a smaller beast to fight than to get into the arena with a whole system that is just aligned against you in ways that shouldn't be. So I'd like to encourage those workers to rethink their position, even if they signed it under duress.
Listen, let me be clear. The DLP still has to prove it. It's not something that just because they signed it. So I'm hoping that under no circumstances is DLP going to be approving this.
Right, and I'm just expressing it differently. I'm just saying, look, you in their minds, right? They're probably thinking, "Oh, I need to do this."
Yeah.
No, they don't. Right.
All right. And thank you, caller.
So, thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, honey child.
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Blessed and highly favored beyond all measures.
Wonderful.
Sandy, I want to share for as long as I have been working, or I have learned that our labor department has been a failure to the people of these islands. You understand? They are quick to turn a blind eye. They are quick to shout things under the table and sweep things under the rug. And I'm also speaking of experience. This has been going on for years on top of years. When you complain to the labor, they take the side of the employer instead of trying to resolve and uphold our laws of the Cayman Islands and deal with the employers. They have the employers rotten. They let the employers them get their way, and the employees are the ones who are suffering, who are not getting justice, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. You hear what I tell you? I used to work with the Ritz-Carlton, and they did everything under the book, discriminating and everything to get rid of me. And guess what? For what? Because I was doing my job. All of the multimillionaire people that own units there, they used to look to me to get people things to me to get done. When the other employees was slacking off, I would get the job done. Sandy, I used to make like $900 tip from them multimillionaires because they were pleased with my work, and they didn't like that. Janet Goodman and Mark Longevon didn't like that. You understand? Being a Caymanian and getting so much attention from these people. They plotted till they fired me. We went to court, and when it went to court, there was no evidence of nothing they were accusing me of, and the court threw it out. We went to labor board and went to tribunal, and do you know tribunal took the side of the Ritz-Carlton? They took the side. You know what the girl said? One of the secretary saying there, not all the time their free spas and their free dinners going to work around here. Evidentially, it did. Evidentially, it did. The labor department needs a revamp. They need caring people working in that position, because who are in there don't give a hoot about our people. They don't give a hoot about upholding the laws, and it's sad. It is sad, because then people have to feed their children. They have to pay their bills. But they don't care, because then they're making their money and they're getting their free spas and their free dinners and free this and free that. So they're not, there's no love. That it boils down to no love for the people. You understand? They don't have no love in their hearts for the people. But it's about time that Caymanians stand up and say enough is enough and address the elephant in the room. You understand? It needs to stop. Who needs to be spoken to? Speak to them. Caymanians, we have too much pride is our problem.
All right, we've got another caller on the line. Thank you so much, caller.
Please stand up and speak out.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. Important issue about this the waiver of overtime. Now, I know you went through a little bit of the law there. I haven't checked it lately. You might be able to educate me on that. I don't know if that is expressly allowed or whether it is just assumed that if you sign, that is fine. Now, however that might be, I do not think that where you have a law which is intended primarily to protect workers, to protect the party in the employment contract who is weak, I think that it is not fair law to say, well, look, you can waive your overtime. Because really, particularly in Cayman, where you don't have strong trade unions, in fact, they hardly ever exist. How is that going to be? Where you've got unions, a union can say, okay, fine, we will enter into a collective agreement where we can waive overtime and we can waive it in these circumstances and so forth. Then it might work. But otherwise, it just becomes a way of exploiting people. You think that somebody a poor guy from Jamaica who's on a work permit is working here, with Cayman, and then you ask him, you say, well, can you waive this? You think he's got a real choice? No. All laws which don't give a real choice must be discouraged, and I think the law should be made in such a way that overtime should never be waived, even with the consent of the employee, because you are not dealing with parties who are equals in terms of bargaining power. Yep. That's my little point this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Couple of questions coming in. So I think it was Shaka Zulu that was asking question, does Cayman laborers have the ability to unionize? Yes, there's nothing stopping you. The only thing that's stopping you is the willpower. Remember back in the day, I think this is how Frank, I don't want to confuse him. Yes, Frank Macfield got started with his political career, is that he was actually pushing the concept of unions, and he started some kind of labor union, and then he got into political office, and well, that was the end of that. So yes, I mean, you can unionize. There's absolutely nothing in the law that is stopping you from doing so. The only thing that's stopping you is Caymanians as a whole, and I dare say laborers as a whole, don't believe in themselves. Like they don't understand the power, the collective power they have if they get together. And that is quite sad. So Sonia says the labor board needs to wake up. They're sleeping too much. Why have a labor in place? And so, by all accounts, somebody said, well, if you check the cause list, you see people in there. Let me tell you something. I do check the cause list because I'm in court quite often. And normally it takes a lot for someone to actually get to that point where they end up in court. My position is it shouldn't take that much. I understand from a legal perspective, if you can handle something with an administrative fine, et cetera, you try to use these less heavy-handed and draconian methods of dealing with rogue employers. But the message that you're sending people, unfortunately, is you're going to get a slap on the wrist. Nothing of significance is going to happen. In fact, someone was telling me that there's a particular employer on island who was not paying pension, and she didn't see the need to pay pension. And she made a remark to them that she didn't pay pension until they changed the law where it is potentially a jailable offense, that then she started to pay pension. So you see, there's some people, as long as it's just a fine, if and when they get caught, an administrative thing, whatever, they don't take that seriously. That's not enough of a message for some individuals. Remember back in the day, I think it might have been Lonnie Tibbetts, who was publishing all of the companies that were in breach of the pensions law. He was posting that up. And that's one of the things I think was actually a wonderful idea. And then he got out and it stopped. Collectively shame these people to say these are the companies who are breaching the laws. And it also lets an existing employee or a potential employee know, if you go and work for this person, here is someone who's demonstrated by their past actions that they don't believe in paying staff pensions. So you might want to think twice about taking up employment with them. To be clear, this is not Fred's only infraction. He's making these guys pay for their own work permits. He is not paying pension and insurance properly. When they're injured, or even on sick leave, he's telling them that they have to continue working. So here's another comment that has come in. This person says, good morning, Sandy. You sure Donnelly Walton not advising him, as she's the one doing his payroll and she works for government, interestingly enough. As per what I heard on your show last week, this is very sad for those workers. Let's hope no one at WRC is being paid by Fred. These expletives are one set of lazy expletives, Sandy, want pay but don't want to work. And the DG wants a world-class civil service? Question mark. This is beyond sick. What a mess. So yeah, I mean, it is literally a mess. All right, let me bring in a few more comments here. This person wants us to point out some stuff, so just give me 1 second. Let me just grab this one as well. For some of you, this whole situation might serve as a real eye-opener, because maybe you've not experienced this and you don't even know that this is exactly what's happening in our small community. We have so many people breaching these laws that it's shocking. So here, this person says, point this out, Fred cannot even cash his own checks. Several employees are used to cash the checks. The only bad thing with saying this is a circle so small, they're going to feel someone among them is talking. It was given to them originally on Thursday, and Thursday they didn't want to hold the document, just sign it. So this was the waiver document, right? So he's just telling you, just sign something. Don't get advice on it. Don't take it away. Don't think about it. Just quick time sign it. That's called coercion, folks. They just start giving it to them. And then last week too, they ask all employees to bring their own insurance cards and work documents. A lot of us want to come forward and talk. So to bring their own insurance card, it's because, again, Fred isn't paying for insurance and he didn't pay for the work permits, but now he's going to collect all this and say, oh, here it is. Listen, DLP needs to have Fred show where they're getting a draft from Fred's company and it's coming out of that account, his business account, and there's no way that the workers are paying back this money. That's how you prove what's actually going on here. Because he has these guys also paying for the insurance, their work permits, and he's not paying pension. Someone said some of us, are Caymanian husbands and the job, and they're going to start losing their income, and it affects the household. Caymanian or status holders are the hardest. It's hardest for them to get the work. When they come forward, government doesn't help, and then the spouse lose their job. So what do you do? And these are real questions, folks, that people are struggling with. Such a sad situation. Wow. Fred, any thoughts? Kyle, any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, that's the predicament that most people are in that prevents them from being able to speak up. They're not in a position where they can risk losing, income on bills and stuff that they need to pay, rent that they need to pay. A lot of the workers, when Fred didn't pay them the money on Monday due to the robbing allegations, a lot of them were just worried about their living situation. How are they going to make it the next 2 weeks to be able to get their next income? So it's things like that, and you can't just take it to the Department of Labor and Pensions, because here's another thing I didn't reveal to you guys yet is that in the case with the Department of Labor and Pensions, they won't escalate it unless the employer decides to not pay you. So if the employer does not decide to pay, it goes to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. However, if the employer decides to pay, the employee has no say on the matter whether or not it goes to the DPP. It's up to the employer. It's up to the employer's discretion. And what's interesting enough is that second waiver that went around. If you pull it up or look in the top left corner again, it says Secretary of Tribunal. It says the Department of Labor and Pensions. Why is this document not coming from the employer themselves? Why does it make it seem like this is coming from a government agency? Is the government agency assisting Fred and the employers in this matter? Because
what this is actually saying, Kyle, we do have a call in the line, so we're going to grab that as well. But what this is because he has to send this document to the Labor Tribunal Secretary at DLP for them to approve it. He has addressed it to them, which there might not be anything wrong with that. But this is where this needs to be explained to the average worker, because the average worker might think, oh, wow, it says the Labor Tribunal Secretary. Does that mean that they have a role to play in this? No, it's that it has to go to them for final approval. So we do have a caller in the line. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to talk about one of y'all's residents that resides in the Cayman Islands. I think I reached out to y'all last night.
Okay, we're actually talking, if I can just pause you for a quick second there. Does it have anything to do with the construction site that we're speaking about right now?
No.
Okay, all right. So we're going to try to keep on topic with this. It sounds like you have another matter that would be ideal for an open mic opportunity, but we are specifically talking about some labor issues this morning.
Okay. So when is open mic?
Some days it's difficult to say, but you could probably try tomorrow around 8:30, 8:45.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, that's somebody calling from overseas. Gosh, we're getting people calling from all over, Honey Child. All right, let me try this number again. See if we can get a hold of some people overseas. So strange. This number is not. Let me try calling from my other number. This one is not even. It just says call failed. All right, let's try. Let me try my US number. You gotta have more than one, Kyle. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
305. Let me see. Okay, seems like we got a problem with that number, but all right. Kyle, I'm gonna do some bit of recognizance work in the background here. All right, you go right ahead and keep talking, my dear. By the way, we do want to get to this Auditor General's report as well. So we do want to spend some time on that this morning. Go ahead, Kyle.
Okay, so just in enlighten you guys more on what happened with the DLP. So when in regards to, like I said, they're just seeking financial restitution for the one employee who comes forth to them. They're not broadening the aspects. So even if it's obvious that the employer is abusing multiple workers through this process that they have set in place, through the system that they have set in place, they will overlook all of that and keep a narrow field on the one employee who brings forth that information. And that information will also be shared with the employer. So your name will be shared with the employer. So the employer will know exactly who is dealing with the DLP, in which case a lot of these workers will be retaliated on in a way where they won't get the next work permit. They will be seen as a problem employee and get fired or their hours cut or even worse. So in pertaining to that, I even asked about, okay, what about Section 6, Statement of Working Conditions? What about Section 3? That's the Statement of Wages. In regards to that, it states on there that employers are required to give you these documents within a certain time frame. And if they don't, then they will be of breach of the law. But in that case, I explained that to the DLP, and they told me that, oh, well, if that's found, we'll just advise them. We'll just advise them to give it to you. That's how they charge people for breaking the law. Obvious abusing of power is wrong, and that's what needs to change, is how the law is enforced.
Unbelievable. Wow. So, I think that there's some definite changes that have to occur here. And I'm trying to get a hold of someone. Let me see here. Let's try another call.
The toll-free number you've dialed is not free of charge from your current location. If you choose to continue the call, you'll be charged at international direct call rates. If you don't wish to pay, please hang up now.
We're gonna pay. Make the call go through.
That's all I would like to say to all Caymanians out there, if you do want to make a positive impact and change, I just recently joined a group that reached out to me called Love for Cayman, Love for KY. You can search them up on social media, join their groups, follow what they're talking about, because their aim is to make a positive change in Cayman. You can get this message to your local politician, get the message out, hear what they have to say about it.
Hello. Thank you for calling the Howard Hospitality Group. Please select from one of the following options so we can connect you with the right person. For new service at your business location, including amusement machines or drink and snack machines, please press 1. For special event rental, including weddings or birthdays, please press 2. If you have questions about our website, purchasing products, or an existing order, please press 3. For help growing your vending business or questions about our vending academy, please press 4. If you have questions about our nonprofit, YOW, please press 5. If you have administrative or billing questions, please press 6. If you're experiencing technical issues with one of our amusement You've reached Natalie Howard. Sorry I missed your call. Leave a message and I'll call you back.
Well, these people certainly don't believe in answering the phone. Hold on. We're trying to reach them on every possible number because, again, these are the people who are contracting with Fred. Their website doesn't work.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not a...
Okay, so they don't answer the phone. The website doesn't work. This is the Howard Hospitality Group, who are the ones who are putting this hotel together. Trying to get a hold of them. Says their address is 430 West Bay Road. I don't know what building that is, but gosh, if they don't even have a working website, it kind of makes me wonder what they're up to. 430 West Bay Road. That's Marquee Plaza. Grand Hyatt, Grand Cayman Residences. So they have a website for that, but of course nobody's answering that phone number. Okay, we're gonna continue trying to find someone. Somebody's trying to look up some numbers to send to me. Yeah, so tell us a bit more then about this group that has organized themselves, Kyle.
Yeah, they're called Love for K-Man, Love for KY. So they organize themselves in a manner where it's all Caymanians. So these are people who can effectively make a change in this country. I implore or ask all of you who want to make a change to look into that group on social media outlets such as Facebook and Instagram, because they will be trying to get this to the politicians, trying to get this. You can have a voice. We can all have a voice in this country if we have unity. We pretty much on the same page on this matter, but all of us are speaking individually. I originally didn't have support until someone like you came and helped me, Sandra from Cayman Mile Road. I appreciate it so much because now I'm getting the support that I was actually looking for. And there are voices in this country that want to make a change. You can be a part of that and you can get your voice heard.
Yeah, good. And I think that eventually people will have to move towards unionizing themselves, as we saw recently in other jurisdictions, even with the port workers in Miami, who just a few weeks ago decided to go on strike. If you notice, that strike didn't last very long because the union went in and made certain demands, and boom, before you knew it, everything was actually sorted out. So this is the power of collectiveness. Our politicians talk about collective responsibility. I think workers need to understand the power of them getting together and pooling their resources and having people with the requisite knowledge and ability really to speak up on their behalf. So still trying to get a hold of anyone at the Howard Hospitality Group. I've got my sources trying to find alternative numbers for them, because so far the numbers that we have don't seem to be working. Not at all, unfortunately. Nobody's answering. Okay, so somebody says, "Morning, Miss Sandy. Here's an article about the people that hired Fred, the French company joint venture, which is LG Contracting. Even the numbers that we have for them, we can't seem to get anywhere with. So does anybody have another number for LG? So we have Kim Lund being the realtor here with Remax for the project. For further project information. All right, let's try. Where's 561 area code? Hold on. It's possible I might be calling these people too early in the morning, especially if they're in the West Coast. So that's Palm Beach. Okay, well, they should be same time zone as us. So let's try this fella now. 61. All right, let's try this guy. I mean, like I said, at some point, the people who are hiring Fred also needs to take some accountability for all of the foolishness that's going on this job site. Hi, good morning, Mr. Brent. This is Sandra Hill. I'm calling from the Cayman Islands. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I just want to first confirm that I've got the right person. Are you connected to the Hyatt project at Paget Beach in Grand Cayman?
Yeah.
Okay, so I run a media house in the Cayman Islands, and we've been having a lot of concerns about how that work site is being managed under Fred McLaughlin.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting on another call, so I can't talk with you right now. So maybe try me a little bit later. Sorry about that.
You see, that's how it goes. When they hear that you're media, all of a sudden, he's obviously aware of the situation. All of a sudden, he can't talk. And he's the president and COO of Sterling Global Financial Limited, which is connected to this project. So who exactly is going to speak about this? So Sterling Group is a global alternative asset management focused on real estate, infrastructure, and financial services. So it seems like they might be the money people. They said that they're responsible for several noteworthy developments in the Caribbean, including the Hurricane Hole Super Yacht Marina at Paradise Landing in Nassau. They mention Montage Cay, wherever that is, a five-star private island. They're talking about villas and private home sites, world-class amenities and Abacos, all over the place. Paget Beach. We have a guy here who's the director of Paget Beach Hotel Limited, expressed his enthusiasm about this project. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. So these are the big players, and the big players are all too happy to turn an eye on what is happening here. And I dare say that this is absolutely ridiculous. Grand Hyatt Cayman Hotel and Residences is supposed to be featuring a range of resort amenities, including, a protective cove, 12,000 square feet, destination spa and fitness center, all these things. And yet they can't answer some just simple questions. So there's another guy here who's director of Paget Beach Hotel. So let's see if we can get a hold of him as well, because we're going to reach somebody. Y'all don't want to answer the phone. You're turning a blind eye to what Fred is doing and what the guy who hired Fred is doing. It's like, come on, really? So this one now is with Madison Hill Properties. Let's see if we can find a public number for him anywhere. Because, you've got to be tenacious getting to these people and letting them know, y'all are going to get bad press off of this. We're going to start linking your company information directly in all the articles so that when people Google your company, the situation with Fred is going to come up because you guys are the ones who are choosing to turn a blind eye. So who is this Zavi Goder, TZVI? He's the director of Paget Beach Hotel Limited. Anybody has his number? Because we would like to call him as well this morning. So we have Sterling Group. I keep saying that his name is also popping up as a director of it. So we just need a phone number, honey child. Let me see. Zoominfo.com. Let's see if we can find it here. A lot of these things are publicly available. All right. So we have an email address, engage via phone. Let me see here. All right. Let me, I'm going to check my regular, the sources that I often use for a bit of detective work. Let me go and see if I can find him on here. I don't know which city or state he's in. So, let's just put in his name and see what comes up. All right, looks like we have one in New Jersey. One in Baltimore. Could be the same guy because this is obviously a very unusual name. So let's have a look at Clifton, New Jersey. We'll soon have his number too, don't worry. What a mess. Refusing to talk to people. My gosh. Let's see what else we got here. Hospitality General. So again, he has that same address on West Bay Road, Grand Hyatt, Grand Cayman Residences. He's on Twitter. BahamasLocal.com had an article. So Bahamas-based Sterling Global Financial Group and Paget Beach Hotel Limited are building a landmark Grand Cayman project in the Cayman Islands. So they're in the Bahamas. According to a statement that reveals the condo portion of the project is already more than 80% sold. This was July of last year. So they're actually registered in the Bahamas, it sounds like. Located in a premium 7.1 acre site on 7 Mile Beach, set to become a luxury landmark, according to them, on the backs of poor laborers, no doubt. Let me just see here. So now we have a founder and executive chairman of Sterling Global Financial Group, David Kosow, says his company is committed to creating a world-class destination. Well, we might want a bit more than that. All right, so at least now we have another name that we can certainly try here. We can find somebody. You can believe that. It's shocking. I mean, you hear how quick that guy was to get off the phone, Kyle?
Immediately, as soon as you said your immediate, all of a sudden he had a call.
Yeah, right. Why would you answer the phone if you had a call? They think that we're... All right, so we have this David Kosow guy. He looks kind of senior. He looks a bit old. But guess what? We got a phone number for him in the Bahamas. So let's give him a call. 1918. You see, if these people are upstanding citizens, they would say, listen, we're going to fire Fred. Or we're in talks with, how to deal with this. What time is it in the Bahamas? Are they in the same time zone as us? I think so.
This is David Kasoy. I'm not able to come to the phone right now. Please leave a message.
At the tone, please record.
All right. So he's a full-time resident of the Bahamas, it says here. He practiced law in Toronto, Canada, and he has over 50 years of real estate and mortgage lending experience. And it claims that he is the principal and president of the Nassau-based New Providence Capital Management Limited, a closed-end mortgage fund and direct lender. He's also connected to this project. So we have his information. We're going to try calling him again and again and again until somebody answers the phone. Okay. This person says, good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. All right. Here's another one. Luke McCoy. McCoy as in a Caymanian? Okay. This person says he's the HR for HHG. Oh, for the hospitality group. Okay, Luke McCoy. I mean, he's probably too far down the totem pole. So he's a native Caymanian, it says here. Notary, hospitality professional, consulting services. According to Cayman Driver's Ed, not sure what he's got to do with that, but anyway, he is a native Caymanian, hails from the district of North Side, achieved much in experience and education during his lifetime, yada, 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 yada. So he's also an HR professional on Offshore Alert. Oh. Okay. Barclays Bank back in 1995 was suing him for something or another. Oh. Okay, interesting. That looks interesting. All right. Let's see what we can find out here, honey child. All right, folks, we're going to keep digging because, somebody has got to be held accountable for this. It just doesn't sit easy with me that everybody can, I've got a phone call to get on. I've got something, nobody wants to be held accountable. Like, come on, what's this all about? Hard to get. It's hard to get anybody on the phone. This person says, a few months ago, a site got raided and this situation is out and open and a mega project and enforcement has been done. The site that one worker was on the roof and the drone. Oh, why did you not call listed? Already did. Okay. Good morning. David owns or is part owner of Sterling Cayman Limited. Oh, he took it over when Caledonia was shut down by SEMA. Okay. It's amazing how small the circle is once you have money. I mean, it doesn't include us, I hate to tell you. But very, very small circle indeed. All right, let's see what we can find out on. Somebody said the pronunciation, it's a Jewish name, and it's pronounced Teesvi. So let's try his number, which I now have in New Jersey as well. 3. Okay. Got some email addresses for him. Let's try that again. Doesn't look like that one went through. 980.
Hi, this is Sam. Sorry, I missed your call. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
All right. Let's try another number. We got another number. We got 3 numbers here. We're going to try all 3 of them. See if he answers any of these. How did he pronounce it? I gotta listen carefully when the voicemail comes up again. Okay, let's try the last one here. Oh, these people seem to be in the New Jersey area. His wife's name looks like it's Rachel, maybe.
Hi, you reached the Gold family. We cannot come to the phone right now, so please leave your name and number, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
These people are challenging to reach, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Sterling Global Financial Group. Let's see if we can reach anybody there. They are, we've got David, Stephen Tiller, Brett Chapman, who I think that's the one that answered the phone just now that wouldn't talk to us. He looks like he's 3rd in command, President and Chief Operating Officer Director. Okay. Let's see if we can get a hold of anyone there. Maybe somebody answers the company number. Let's try again. Another number. Oops. Okay.
Good morning, Sterling Global Financial. Johnny speaking. How can I help?
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm trying to get a hold of Mr. David Casal? Is that Casoy. Is he available, or how's the best way that I can reach him this morning?
Let me check. May I ask who's speaking?
Yes, it's Sandra Hill calling from the Cayman Islands.
Okay, one moment for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Somebody says he's Canadian, comes to Cayman all the time in a private jet from the Bahamas. He lives in the Bahamas.
Hello. Thank you for
hi.
holding. I'll transfer you right now. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello?
Hi, good morning, Mr. David Casoy.
Speaking. Who's calling?
Good morning. This is Sandra Hill. I'm calling from the Cayman Islands in relation to the Paget Beach project, the Hyatt project that is being built in Grand Cayman.
And who are you?
Yep, from media.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was getting to that.
That's a good start.
Yes, I was getting to that. Not to worry. I'm just wondering how much you know about the labor issues and compliance issues that are happening at the job site under the management of Mr. Fred McLaughlin.
I have no comment. No knowledge either.
No knowledge. Wow. Could I email you? I wonder if I could send you some email information about this convicted felon that you guys have working the job site who's now taking advantage of laborers, having them pay for their own work permits, not paying pension insurance.
Well, first of all,
yes.
We're not I'm not the spokesman for the company.
Right.
And I'm not aware of anything that's going on there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I would give no help.
Who do you think?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be interested if you.
Yeah, I'm happy to send you. I think I've got access to your email address here, but I'm happy to send you some information. But in your, maybe you can give me some guidance here. Who would be the best person to speak with? Who's more responsible?
Sure. I would, if you could put it in writing.
Yes.
I'll try and get some information for you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
This is the first time hearing of it. So
okay.
I can be of no help to you at all.
Yes, I understand. All right, I'll send you some information.
I haven't been to the island. In probably 7-8 months.
Right. Okay. All right. Yes. Well, he's officially under investigation by the Labor Department and Immigration. Right. So I'll send you some details.
Well, I can tell you I didn't hire him.
I appreciate that.
I'm telling you that. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, he says he's clueless. So I will send him some information. Maybe there can now be a trickle-down effect. I don't know who's ultimately responsible. Some people are saying that it is LG contracting locally. They're not answering their phone. That he's the one who's brought Fred on board. So, yeah, at least we got somebody to answer. And he's not knowledgeable. Maybe if we, just trying to have a look here. Maybe if he gets information, then he can start asking some questions of these other people and we can see exactly what's going on. So LG Contracting Limited, they're actually members of the Cayman Contractors Association. Someone was inquiring as to what the Cayman Contractors Association has to say about this, because they're also a bit of an oversight body in the construction industry. And not a word from them either. Who's president of this Cayman Contractors Association? Does anybody know? Let's give them a call. 525. Yep, they're a local organization. I mean, I don't know that they look out for anybody other than contractors, but that's a horrible sound. Let's find out.
Good morning, this is Dan.
Hi, good morning. Sandra Hill here from Cayman Mall
Hello.
Road. Hey, hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Okay, he doesn't seem to be able to hear me. Let me call him back. It did sound like a bad connection as well, so I'm not sure what was going on there. Let's try again. What a hot mess.
Hello, this is Dan.
Hi, Dan. Sandra Hill here from Cayman Mall Road. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Sandra. How about yourself?
I'm good. I just have a quick question. I see that you're the contact person for the Cayman Contractors Association. Do you guys ever get involved with like companies who are breaching like the labor laws, pension laws, and so forth? Do you hold your contractors responsible for anything like that? Or what is the remit really of the Contractors Association?
It's funny you ask, because we do get quite a lot of calls and complaints about either not so much that stuff. It's more like unscrupulous business practices, and it tends to be contractors that are not actually members of the association. So in those cases, we just really can't do anything. For our members, I mean, it's part of the membership sort of agreement, I guess, for lack of a better word. That you need to be, paying pension and work permits and abiding by all the laws of the Cayman Islands and all that type of stuff. Since I've been involved, we've never, which is maybe the last, 4 years or so roughly, I haven't had anybody specifically come to us to say, either there's been a pension issue or a permit issue, either like an employee nor like the DLP office or work or anything like that. Usually it's more people that have a gripe with the business practices of a contractor, but it's very, very rarely, if ever, one of our members.
I'm assuming that Fred McLaughlin wouldn't be a member of your organization. I'm not sure if you know, but
I know the name only from your recent stories. I don't know what his company is called, but to my knowledge, he is not. No.
Okay. But one of the companies, interestingly enough, I was just here doing some research, and we're trying to figure out the hierarchy of who's responsible for hiring Fred and who allows him to do what he does. So one of the companies is LG Contracting, I think it's called. So they're actually a member, and they're the ones who apparently have subcontracted it out to Fred for him to then do what he does. So are you familiar with LG Contracting and how we can reach them? Because the number that's listed on your directory online for Alex Lang, I think is his last name, we can't seem to reach him on that number at all. Nobody answers that number.
I'm familiar with them insofar as I know that they're members, and I've met Alex, once or twice. If that number isn't working, you could try just on Google or EK Trade or something and see if there's another number. I mean, they're quite a large outfit, so I would think they'd have a publicly available number.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon. I'm not on the radio, am I?
You are. So
okay.
If you be careful what I mean, so far you haven't said anything controversial, but yes.
No, it's fine. I was just curious. It's not uncommon that members of the association have to subcontract out to people that are not members because of the thousands of companies that are contractors. Only about 50 to 100 of them are members of the association. So it's not uncommon that happens. And exactly what the arrangement is between LG and Mr. McLaughlin, I couldn't tell you that.
Yeah, I understand. And the unfortunate thing is what happens is they seem to be contracting with people that maybe they haven't done the due diligence on. And so then there's this trickle down effect to the workers where, the workers have to deal with Fred and his company, and they don't have any recourse beyond Fred, which is unfortunate, it seems like. But
it's not an unheard of story where, sometimes the bigger contractors, if not sometimes, I'd say maybe always, they do quite a bit of due diligence in the sense that they'll go ask the contractor for references, and they'll find people that have done work with them and things like that before. It's quite rare that we'd ever be able to actually talk to that subcontractor's employees and ask them, have you been paid? But usually when they're not being paid, it's very quick that they will, if they have to go around their boss and find someone else, they might say, hey, my boss hasn't been paying me. What's up with this? And plenty of the bigger contractors, they know the games that some of these smaller guys play sometimes. So yeah, it's hard to know exactly what the situation is, exactly what he's doing, and exactly what LG does or doesn't know. That's something that only those folks would be privy to.
Right. And, Fred happens to have a very interesting history, including being incarcerated for theft and other things. So I'm surprised that he has been in the industry for so long. People like LG Contracting continue to use him. I mean, surely there's lots of other options out there than someone who has a track record of not just employment and labor breaches, but even beyond that, because straight up criminal.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment specifically because I don't know exactly the details. But yeah, I mean, sometimes these things happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I really appreciate the call, and it's interesting to find out a little bit more about your organization as well, because I think a lot of people don't really know what the Contractors Association even does.
Yes, it's not everybody knows about us, and yeah, most of the industry, as I said, is actually not members of the association, so it's a little unique in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
No problem. Take care.
Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Finally, somebody who at least was willing to give us something.
Yeah, that was enlightening.
Yeah. So we definitely need to get a hold of Alex over at LG Contracting. Now, he's saying that it's a pretty big company, so he would be surprised if they don't have some additional contact information. We're trying to find it. I mean, so far we only have this mobile number, which nobody seems to be answering. And there's even a hotel management network article where it says from last year, Grand Hyatt Cayman teams up with top financing firms, and LG Contracting is listed as a general contractor and Sculpture Real Estate as a construction lender. So, this is, folks, this is big business. This is a multi-million-dollar project for sure. And so somebody has got to be aware of what Mr. McLaughlin is doing and put some pressure on him. It can't be that everybody is going to just, try to push the responsibility onto somebody else. We're going to keep digging. We're going to send emails out today about what's happening, and we're going to put some fire under Fred's ass one way or the other. Straight as that. I can only give it to you straight.
People will be held accountable for abusing their power and their workers, for breaking the law. We just need people who to stand up, speak up, share this with politicians, policymakers. The law needs to change. The people who enforce the law need to actually enforce the law. Any Caymanians out there, like I said before, there's this narrative that goes around since I've been here. I heard that Caymanians were lazy. They just want to sit back and do nothing. What I figured out was that majority of this labor work, it happens in all of these departments, the abuse of the workers. And Caymanians, they know this, so they're just not willing to put themselves in a position where they're going to just be abused by these employers. And that's really the truth. It's not that just Caymanians don't want to do the labor work. The labor work needs to change. Like there needs to be people who pay them appropriately, and then you'll see more effort from Caymanians on that front.
Absolutely. All right. So somebody said to call Billy McLaughlin, but I don't have Billy's number. So if anybody has Billy McLaughlin's number, by all means, send it to me. Apparently he was, I don't know if he's still in the business with Fred. But he is, he's apparently, he was at some point involved in this construction business. So, all right, we'll keep pushing. Anybody has any additional information? Thanks, Andrew, for the suggestion. Thanks, Siobhan says no accountability. Sia says if they save $2 an hour per head per hour per employee times 300, that's could be savings or skimming of $1.2 million per month for this project. Strong Will says he has a big ass. He can handle it. Gene says, please give Kyle a kaboom there. Marco, good morning, says the labor law is a joke to the Caymanian and residents. The reason I'm saying this is because when you go to them to make a complaint on any source of wrong dismissal by the employer, they get back to you in 6 months. These people are a joke and waste of time. It's simple. The employees on this island don't have any protection against the employers. And, Marco, unfortunately, that is a common sentiment on this island. And I think that DLP should be concerned about that, as well as our elected officials. that whatever system you guys have in place, it just doesn't work. Doesn't the Labor Department, says Shaka Zulu, have an investigative arm to do essentially what you're attempting to do, Auntie Sandy? Yes. Well, last week after Kyle was on the show that day and we did that show, they actually reached out to the media and issued a press statement saying that they were on the job and they were investigating it, both DLP and from an immigration perspective, WORC as well. It's funny. We didn't hear about an investigation before the show, but we sure heard one by that afternoon. So, like I said, their investigation seems to be questionable from the perspective that the very first thing I would do if I were an investigator is go in there and shut everything down. There will be no working on this site until we get all these things straightened out. Because, that's the kind of reaction that would get people moving. Try this number. Not sure if it's changed. Okay, somebody sent a number for Mr. Billy. Let's see if he's able to answer the phone. 927. All right. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but the person you have called is unavailable.
All right, no response there. Somebody said reach out to Graham. He's like the mayor of East End. Let's see if he can tell us anything about what's going on up that way. Mm-hmm. Okay, not much luck today, Kyle and everybody else. We still have over 500 people listening to the show. We will continue to see who else we can reach on this. Cayman Brack, the Best Island, says we pay Tasha Eden rent for years for labor office in Stake Bay, Cayman Brack. In my 3 years up here, I only saw it open for 48 hours, one time only. What a mess. Good morning, Miss Michelle. How are you? All right. Well, they know that we're calling around and we're asking questions. And I don't think Jesse, the realtor, Remax, is going to know much of anything that's going on, really. So let's send an email to Mr. What was his name again? He was the top guy over there. Hold on. Let me just get his name again. From the Sterling Group. They say he actually lives in the Bahamas. He said he hasn't been on island in about 8 months. Mr. David Kasoy, he's the founder and chief executive chairman. Might be time for him to make a trip. I'm just saying. So we'll email him and share with him what Fred has been up to. And maybe he can reach LG. If nobody else can, maybe he can reach LG Construction, because I don't know what kind of company operates locally that you can't even get a hold of them in terms of a phone number. So pretty wild. Anybody else has another number for LG Construction Company? Do let us know. We would be happy to. LG Contracting Limited. Mm-hmm. We'll be happy to reach out to them. But so far, the number that we do have for them, nobody answers that phone. What a mess. All right. I see he's been sued a couple times, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Somebody said contact Craig Nixon. Apparently, he used to work for LG Contracting as late as earlier this year. So we'll see if we can get a hold of Craig Nixon as well. All right, folks, we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to try to find out who's going to take some accountability from the business side of things as well. Kyle, thank you so much for reaching out. Strong Will says, call back Graham. Well, I mean, he didn't answer the first time, so I guess he might be busy. We can call him back, but let's see. Mm-hmm. Cameron back says kickback money shuts up plenty in the CI government. Many, not all, are on the kickback list. Andrew says, what I would like to know is the Department of Labor should have an agreement with the main contractor, LG, as to providing jobs, even 40% Caymans. Well, Caymanians not going to go and work on a job site like this where all this is going on. I mean, let's be real. Absolutely not. I mean, you saw any Caymanians there, Kyle?
Probably like 4 on the whole site.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, they're not going to put up with this. Just like
Right.
You're like, nope, I can go out there and get another job and I don't need a permit. So, don't mess with my rights. Pretty crazy. All right. Well, Kyle, thanks again for coming on and, keeping the fire, and continue to encourage those guys on the job site because, they might be listening to you. Please continue to encourage them to stand up for their rights. I heard there's a few people on the site. Somebody said they just drove by there. There are a few people there this morning. Don't work under these conditions, folks. You've got to now, this is under the spotlight. And you have got to be prepared to stand up for yourselves, because the alternative is that, unfortunately, nothing will be done and you'll be railroaded otherwise.
Right. And thank you to you, Sandra. Thank you to Cayman Mall Road. Thank you to all the Caymanians and otherwise. Thank you to all the expats, everyone on this island who's supporting this, everyone outside of the island who's supporting the right thing. I don't want to turn this into a Christian thing, but I come from a Christian background. So we learned about Leviticus yesterday, and the teachings in Leviticus tells you to pay your wages fairly, pay what you owe. It speaks about risking. I don't want you to risk your life, but risk yourself, risk something to do the right thing. And like I said, all of you Caymanians, you have a voice. You're not lazy. You're not what the narrative is. Look out for Love of KY, social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, Love of KY. They will be doing things to make a better impact and change for Amen.
Thank you so much, Kai. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, dear. Have a good one. Ms. Carol says, if I had purchased a unit in that development, I'd be very nervous right about now. Maybe find out an individual who's purchased and get their take on what's happening. Dominique, good morning. Yeah, okay. All right, folks, we're going to keep on top of it. We had some other topics I was hoping we could get to today, but we'll pick those up tomorrow morning. And, stay tuned. We're not going to just let this go like this. We're going to email all the big wigs around this and saying, hey, what kind of shoddy job are you guys running here? And the more publicity they get, like once they hear your media, they start to get a little bit antsy. And the more publicity this project gets, as Carol said, maybe even people who are buying the units, they're going to think twice about, I'm not so sure I want to be part of this. And you know what happens when the money slows down? That's when people start to do the right thing. I'm just saying. Money is a powerful motivator for a lot of people in this world. So you hit them where it counts. Hit them in their pocketbooks, honey child. And, let's see what happens. Good morning, Miss Ethel. So good to see you. Siobhan, have a beautiful day, folks. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 7:30.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.